Super Smash Bros. Is filled with amazing arenas to pummel your friends in, and with so many settings I decided, you know what, it's finally time I sit my butt down and figure out what my personal top 15 best Super Smash Bros. Stages are. So, let's do that. I love the peaceful atmosphere of this world. It's funny because it doesn't really feel like the type of location you would be fighting in. It reminds me of a lazy summer afternoon. Of course, this stage is anything but peaceful. For one thing, drivers here and on it don't really seem to slow down for pedestrians. So, if you're fighting on the ground, you gotta keep your eye out for the speedy vehicles. I love the little vroom noise that they make as they pass by. There's a lot of areas to fight on too. The branches above the yellow house, the drugstore's awning, and the flag ropes above the small blue home. It's a very multi-dimensional level to battle in. So, to be perfectly honest, I don't really think the layout of this stage is all that interesting or clever. However, the great color palette and the atmosphere really make up for its lack of landscape. It all looks so, well, dreamy. And I love the way the reflective flowing water looks on the ground. This whole stage has a very mystical, out-of-this-world vibe to it. The music is also pretty epic as well. Now, I've never actually heard of these things called Pokemen, but whatever, that's cool, because the Pokemon Stadium is fantastic. I mean, especially the Brawl version. I love how it's kind of many stages in one, and watching it transform and take on a whole new element is super nice. I also, for some reason, really love the jumbo screen in the background. It's got a bunch of little bits of information. It's a nice added touch. It's weird, I don't really like the main Pokemon games that much, I've never gotten into them, yet the spin-offs and the Super Smash Bros. References I really do like. I'm a pretty complicated guy. I love the original Donkey Kong Country game on the Super Nintendo, and this stage is definitely designed with that original title in mind. All of the plant life has that kind of strange, early 3D plastic look to it, which is sort of a nice touch. There's a good symmetrical vibe here, including a couple rotating platforms in the center and a lower dip in the middle of the stage. One of the cool features, though, is the scrolling barrel across the bottom of the screen. If you're falling and you manage to get sucked up in it, you can shoot yourself back up onto the stage and surprise your friends with some painful, furious attacks. I really also love the sunset setting. I think, honestly, any arena that takes place during the sunset is automatically pretty great. Oh, this arena has so much going on in it. It's pure Zelda greatness everywhere you look. You can duke it out on top of the steel platforms, toss friends into the ocean, and even take each other on top of a giant turtle. How can you not love that? Even Tingle himself makes an appearance. It's nearly impossible to not want to pop his balloon and make him come falling to the ground. It does nothing, but it's pretty satisfying. And you know, while the battle rages on, it's pretty impossible to not fear the ominous moon that lurks in the background. But that's okay, because it's all a tropical stage that has a lot going on in it. I really like this one. You know, it may surprise you to learn this, but I love Animal Crossing. Yeah, I know, that's a big shocker, right? So it should be pretty obvious as to why I love Smashville in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The overall structure is super simple, but there's a lot of detail in the background of the design. Every time you load up the stage, it can be slightly different and feature new characters watching the battle. Not to mention the time of day in real life is actually reflected in this stage, which I think is pretty amazing. I mean, it's really just like in Animal Crossing, and you can even catch a KK Slider concert on Saturday nights. Now that is the definition of amazing. Oh man, now this one is my all-time favorite Pokemon-themed stage. The intense battle rages high atop the buildings of Saffron City. What's super cool about this arena, though, is that it has its very own special Pokemon appearances. They'll burst out of the building and then deal some damage to anybody that is close by. It's fun to see who's going to show up next. And it's also really fun, if you're evil, like me, to toss your friends towards the angry Pokemon and watch them take a bunch of damage. I also like the little twirly platforms that hover up and down in the air over here. This is just a really fun stage. What could possibly be more action-packed than beating the snot out of your friends while atop the Great Fox as it soars through Corneria City? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's what. I like how, on occasion, some R-Wings will appear and begin to shoot at the players. You can even get blasted by the ship's laser in the front. But if you go down there, you're pretty much asking for it anyways. This stage is cool because it's not just a flat surface. You can battle on the head, neck, fin, and even the tail. Yeah, I pretty much just compared the Great Fox to the body parts of a shark. I love taunting other players while I'm down on the tail to get them to come to me, and then I just end up tossing them right off the back end. I absolutely adore the summertime, so any stage that features a tropical setting will basically instantly win me over. Soaring atop the crystal clear skies of Isle Delfino and landing in special locations is pretty fantastic. It's like an exciting grand tour of Delfino Plaza. Every landing site features totally different surroundings, so really it's kind of like you're playing in multiple levels at once. Super Mario Sunshine is easily my favorite 3D Mario title, so it's pretty easy to see why I love this one. I love the premise of a stage where you can bust apart the platforms below you. It just creates this like totally new playfield and requires that the players constantly be aware of their surroundings and what's going on with the level. Getting back to the platforms can be just a little bit tricky if there aren't any. You can also still walk on the clouds, but you can't like grab onto them, so again, it becomes a little tricky, especially for certain characters. I just really like this stage because it's got a unique concept and a really, really beautiful atmosphere. For the record though, I hate Pit. Pit is just awful. Alright, so battling atop a castle in Hyrule? Yeah, I think that sounds pretty awesome. And you know what? It totally is. There's a lot of different areas to this rooftop. You can climb atop the platforms in the middle, battle under this little weird trellis thing, and even get a little bit risky by fighting over on the sloped edge to the left. A tornado appears in this level as well, and if you get too close, as you could probably guess, it will suck you up and whip you around and then toss you out. It's great though, because it kind of becomes a little bit of a challenge amongst players to see who can toss who into the tornado when it shows up. I also really love the background in this arena. It has a nice sort of nature-themed atmosphere, and it really helps give you the sense of just how high up on top of this castle you really are. Alright, let's do a little math here. We've got Super Smash Bros. Plus WarioWare equals... oh yes! It's so glorious, I can only define it with a gleeful sound effect. I mean, how cool is this damn stage, honestly? You get to play Super Smash Bros. And beat down your friends like usual, but it's combined with little microgames that pop up every so often. And if you successfully complete the microgame task, you even get rewarded in battle. So you might grow really big, you might get a Starman. It's so original and awesome. The stage has a neat, simplistic art style, and oh man, the many tracks of silly music that can play here are too great. No oxygen, no seatbelts, just intergalactic mayhem. When you really look at this stage, it may very well be the most action-packed, epic setting in the Smash Bros. Series. You're speeding through outer space, R-Wings are buzzing all around you, you're barely dodging massive asteroids and squeezing through space stations. This is an amazing setting, and it really makes you appreciate just how action-packed and exciting and epic the Star Fox world can really be. The ship itself is pretty cool too, because it rocks back and forth as it maneuvers all the craziness around you. There are many reasons why I love this stage. For starters, the entire time that you're duking it out with friends, you'll be listening to the awesomely terrible DK rap music. I cannot stand rap music, but if it's about Donkey Kong, I will happily listen to it. The atmosphere itself is very cool. You're brawling right in front of a raging waterfall, and the rapids are splashing everywhere. The wooden platforms also rock back and forth, which just kind of adds to the craziness. One of the things myself and friends, for some reason, really love to do in this stage is we try to claim ownership of the small little rock on the right side of the stage. It's pretty hilarious to see everybody try to knock each other off to try and stay on this little rock the longest. We're pretty stupidly competitive about strange things. This level is just downright clever and wacky, and I don't think anyone in a million billion years would have ever expected a Smash Bros. Arena to be based on the PictoChat lobby on Nintendo DS. It works though. In fact, it works very well. It's loads of fun due to the fact that different sketches will suddenly appear right in front of your very eyes. There's a lot of variety too. A little home, a bonsai tree, a couple flames, and lots more. And you know, I think a totally unpredictable stage like this is the perfect example of why Smash Bros. Is so loved by so many people. So there you have it, my fellow Smashers, my personal 15 picks for the best Super Smash Bros. Stages of all time. But then again, by the end of 2014, I may have to totally rethink my list once the 3DS and Wii U games launch. Got any favorite stages of your own? Want to pointlessly ridicule my selections to make yourself feel superior? Well, drop some comments below and sound off. Hey, thanks for watching this video from TheBitBlock. If you want to stay up to date on tons of exclusive Nintendo content, be sure to subscribe by clicking here. And if you don't want the fun to end, you can check out more Nintendo coverage by clicking over here.